Not even 24 hours into the new ban list, and Dragon Link players have already figured out how to Buster Lock again. How? The answer lies on the card DMZ Dragon. This card lets you equip a dragon you control with a dragon from your graveyard. This is pretty straightforward, as you can just equip a dragon with a buster that you already have in grave. But let's go ahead and do some test hands and see how easy it is to actually do the combo and whether or not it's worth incorporating in the deck. So the first thing that I want to address is that I am not a Dragon Link player. So please forgive me if I screw up any of these combos or if I don't play optimally. All of my experience with this deck comes from secondhand knowledge of watching other people play it or playing against it. I haven't played Dragons or any kind of Rocket deck since Rockets first came out. And I'm not talking about the structure deck, I'm talking about when they first premiered and people were planning on using them like they were TG stun. Now, all that said, I think that means more towards the viability of this combo than it holds against it. I was able to pick up this deck and pull off this combo pretty consistently and pretty regularly. Basically, if I could pull off the regular Dragon Link plays, I could usually go into this combo overall and end on some form of a negation as well as the Buster Lock. Now, in order to get into this combo, you need to get your Buster Dragon into the graveyard. This is surprisingly easy in the deck, as you have several methods in order to go about doing that. The simplest is to just normal summon it or discard it, but you have a consistent way to get to it through both Needle Fiber and the Destruction Sword Link monster, or the Buster Blader Link monster, however you want to go about describing it. The Buster Blader Link monster will send it to the grave directly from the deck, while Needle Fiber can special summon it out of the deck. Optimally, you want to use Needle Fiber as it means you lose less card advantage. Now, the second part of the combo is getting out your DMZ Dragon. You have two primary methods of doing that, either using up your normal summon and bringing it back later, or just using your LP in order to summon it. If you bring it back later, you can use your Guard Dragon in order to do that, or you can use a card like Monster Reborn or the World Legacy Guard Dragon in order to bring it back. Optimally, I think you'd probably be using your Guard Dragon in order to bring it back. Unfortunately, if you do summon it out with LP, you are losing out on summoning out some other cards. But if you already start out with a way to get out your Borreload Savage Dragon, then equipping it onto the Borreload Savage Dragon by using up your LP summon on the DMZ is very, very strong. For those of you who played during this format, you'll remember how much of a pain it was to have to try and out a larger negation board and at the same time have to deal with the fact that you couldn't summon from your extra deck. You could use a card like Dark Ruler no more, but you wouldn't end up negating the lock that would keep you out of your extra deck. So you'd have to have a secondary means in order to get over large monsters without having to use your extra deck. And a lot of decks simply just can't do that. So decks were resorting to running stuff like Kaijus and stuff like that, but people would equip to other monsters besides the Borreload Savage Dragon, ensuring that if you did out the Buster Lock, you still weren't outing all the negates. And it turned into this giant mind game, and it was quite a pain. People were using hand traps in order to try and stop the combo overall from happening in the first place, but it was so low investment to do this, or at least it was. We no longer have to deal with Link Cross in the format, so in order to do any of the Guard Dragon combos, you need multiple cards in order to go off, because you can't just go into a Needle Fiber, summon out your tuner, go into Link Cross, and then just continue to combo off like you used to be able to. But it's still extremely consistent, and there are so many extenders in this deck. You are almost always going to be able to make some kind of a consistent, strong board. It's just whether you can play through how many hand traps your opponent has and which hand traps you can play through. And speaking of interaction, I did want to note that all of these videos were just general test hands, because I wanted to ensure that I could get this video out as soon as possible to kind of show that the Buster Lock is alive again and show that this combo is very much a practical one that I believe will be around in some sense in the competitive meta. I do believe it's practical. I do believe that people are going to use it, and I have already seen people testing it out. So yeah, it's Dragon Link. You only have to run 2 additional cards in order to be able to do this combo, making it extremely practical. The combo can be implemented into a multitude of different starting hands, ensuring that you're able to pull this off pretty much regardless of how you start, as long as you didn't brick. And the combo is also small enough to where if you don't want to main deck it, it's easy to side. I do, once again, want to note that I am not a Dragon Link player, but this is probably going to be something that's going to be floating around. Thanks for watching the video. Tell me in the comments section down below what you'd like to see next, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.